Greetings, welcome to thctrust.org. That's T is in Tango, H is in Hotel, C is in Charlie, trust.org. In this session, which may end up to be about 2 or 3 sessions, we are going to reveal how you would get someone out of jail or get somebody out of prison. And it does not matter whether it's 10 years or 20 years, that's irrelevant. And this is not going to cost you a lot of money, so I'm dedicating this out to the black man and the black woman and the black race, and I'm hoping that some active people will get a hold of this audio, and they will execute the blueprint that I'm laying out before you, so that we can go in here and get these black men out of jail. And not just black men, but I'm specifically talking to my own race. But rest assured, for everybody that's watching, this is just as much for you too, because the principles apply for everyone. I just have my mission, that I know what I'm required to do, and I know that this is the time right now for the bonds to be redeemed for the Jews that are in bondage, and that's the black American that doesn't know his race. Anyway, I'm laying the information out there so there's no excuse why you should not be doing something to get your brother or to get your son or to get your husband out of jail, because I'm about to lay it out to you. And more so, if he has some type of awareness of who he is, and that being not a slave of the United States as a corporation, or not being a vessel of the United States, if he has that understanding of who he is, that's going to make this process much more powerful. But what I am about to lay out to you will work. If you overstand and you see this thing through, it will work. And now you have the audio right here. So this may get lengthy and it may get long, but if you listen to it again and again, by the time you get to the second or third time of listening to this whole series over and over again, it's going to be easier and second nature, and you're going to see how this thing works together and how it flows. So you're going to understand when I give you the series of documents that you need to file, and the step-by-step process that you need to do. You're going to see why it's going to work, and you're going to know how to make it work, and you're going to know what to do if for whatever reason someone tries to stand in your way. But this, now listen to what I'm saying now, this is going to work. So I need active people. We need you to get out here and do this, because there's no excuse. We're not charging you. The information is right here. Now, in this first session right here, I just want to go over the necessary documents that need to be filed before we really get to moving, before you can do anything. And a lot of those documents you can find at thctrust.org. You can find the template, and you'll have to fill them out. When I say fill them out, you mean make them personal. Put the personal things that apply to you in there. Now, these are just documents that have to be in the record. So before we even pursue getting the vessel out of captivity, or getting the body out of the jail or the prison, we got to have these documents in the record. Now, those documents are the will. So that means the person that's incarcerated needs to get a will on file. And then you need a testamentary letter that establishes you, the person listening to this, as the executor for his will. And then you can also do a letter of executorship. Pretty much in his will, he needs to establish that you are the executor for his estate. Excuse me. Then you need a declaration of status. The declaration of status is going to be for you as the executor, so that you will establish for the public that you're not a slave to the United States in the same boat as the vessel that you're trying to get released. But you also need a declaration of status for the vessel to rebut the presumptions of law that he is a vessel of the United States and subject to law of the sea and the commercial system and all of that. So that declaration of status, it can be indigenous sovereign standing, which you can find a good declaration on thctrust.org, or it can be, you're nationalizing documents that you've declared your status as being, a Washita, or perhaps from one of these other nations. But I say your status as a Moor. You can declare your status as a Moorish, I don't want to say a Moorish American, just as a Moor. Because one thing about declaring your status is, if you declare your status, now you have to be careful that somebody doesn't try to label you as a terrorist, because now we have all these new ways that people can be labeled terrorists. So along with your status, you're going to need a peace treaty. Now there happens to already be a peace treaty between Morocco and the United States of America. So that's a peace treaty for the Moors that's already in place. So you need that peace treaty so that you are not labeled an enemy combatant. Plus, if you read through that treaty, which I'll also have at thctrust.org, you will see that there is, it's written and it deals with vessels, but that's really what we're talking about here. You'll see there's already provisions in the treaty for the release of the body. We say you need the will. They need to establish you as the executor of their estate. You need a letter of executorship and a testamentary letter, if you can get one of those. And you will be able to get one of those, so I shouldn't even say if. And what I'm talking about is, you can Google that. Once you establish a will in the appropriate court, the county of where wills are filed, where you're at, it may be the superior court, it may be the probate court, but if you file a will in common form, they'll issue the letter of testamentary, I think that's what it's called. And pretty much what it is, it's the court seal acknowledging you as the executor of the estate. So once you have those documents, you're going to need to set up your estate with the IRS. Now, the reason why you're doing that is because you're going to need some form of enforcement when it's time to actually get the vessel, get the body out of jail. If a judge or someone, public official, or the sheriff or anybody, if somebody's standing in the way, they want to prejudice your rights or trespass against the estate, that's why you want to have your estate information already set up with the IRS, so that you have someone to enforce for you. Because ultimately where we're going with this is, we're going to go, except for value, the obligations, make them payable to the order of the United States of America. And through our understanding of trust, we're going to make the public trustee discharge the obligations to the Treasury and release the vessel. Now, that's why, again, you need to have your estate information set up with the IRS, because that is where your enforcement comes in. What we're going to be doing is, we're going to be affecting the accounting. So what happens is, if the public trustee or the judge, whoever has been appointed, if they don't do what they're required to do, then we bring the IRS in, because the IRS is all about creditor and enforcing against the debtor. And if we're there to settle the account, and we're doing everything we're supposed to do, and they're withholding the remedy, or they're withholding our settlement, then they become the tax protester, the withholder, and that's why the IRS will come in and collect for us. But we're going to be going into that part later, of how to initiate that and how to work toward making that happen. But right now, I just wanted to express that this is probably the reason why you want to get your estate set up. Now, for the purpose of what we're trying to do, I would not overburden yourself worrying about what is the exact right way to set up this estate, and does it have to be done this way. When I set up my estate, and I'm not saying that it's done the right way, if there is a right way, but I just called the IRS on the phone and said, hey, I need an EIN for an estate, and let them guide me through it. They were like, is it a bankruptcy estate or a decedent estate? And I told them a decedent estate. So they asked for the social security number. And I gave them the social security number. Then they asked me who the executor of the estate was, and I told them who the executor of the estate was. And then they asked me, well, what's the executor's social security number or tax ID number? And I said, he doesn't have one. And they were okay with that. And I just shared that with you because I know that's a question a lot of people have. Yeah.